Today's Q&A is about kosher logos, and the question is, which kosher symbols, hashgacha logos, are acceptable? Well, the first part of the answer is that anybody, literally anybody, Jewish, not Jewish, makes no difference, can claim that food is kosher and make a logo to says that. In fact, there's been a rash recently of all kinds of very interesting looking logos that are not produced by anybody who knows who's Shomer Shabbos, who's Jewish. They don't know any, and they know nothing. They just plop it on that says the food is kosher. So the fact that there's a logo doesn't mean anything. That's completely meaningless. So the first thing is you just have to know is who stands behind the logo. Find out who created this and who is claiming that the food is kosher, and make sure that person is a Shomer Shabbos Jewish person. That's a very obvious first step. But the truth is, there's more to it than that. And that is, most people realize that there's a lot of halachas that a person needs to know in order to give hashgacha. A lot of things in Yoreh De'ah about bugs and basar b'chalav and pas Yisrael and bishul Yisrael, gvinas Yisrael and seals and stam yain and tefillas kelim, hafrashas challah and other mitzvahs of Eretz Yisrael, and then even parts of Orach Chaim like kashering or Hilchos Shabbos for certain types of situations, and Hilchos Pesach. So that's a whole lot of knowledge a person has to have, but he also has to know not enough just to know something from, so to speak, from a book. You have to know how to apply it in what the accepted way of practicing halacha is. Like, for example, there are tshuvas that say that you can make gelatin from animals that didn't have shechita. And there are tshuvas that say that carmine color, which is made by crushing certain bugs, the cochineal bugs, is kosher. But there are tshuvas like that, and a person might know what that tshuva says, but needs to know also, of course, that the world does not accept those rulings. So just because the tshuva says that it's mutter doesn't mean that in practice that would be acceptable as kosher. And then there are differences from one community to the next. Like one community might allow, pas palter or het mechira, and in other places not ready to accept that. So a person now has to know what's accepted in general, but he has to know what's accepted for their community that they're certifying a product for. Now, after that, after a person has the halacha from the technical, from the knowledge of the book knowledge together with what's accepted as halacha, another part is how to apply to contemporary situations, like which vegetables have bugs in them today. How do you kasher a hot-filled beverage line? How do you make bishul Yisrael if you have a steam boiler or an induction stovetop? Which ingredients need hashgacha, don't need hashgacha? And none of the answers to those questions that I just mentioned are in the Shulchan Aruch or in any of the poskim. So the Rav Machshir needs to know, understand Metzias. He has to have hands-on experience and know how to apply all these halachas properly. And to do that, part of it is his own personal experience, but part of it also is having other people who we can contact, who can help him out, or who can teach him, and he can learn from, and he can ask questions to, and he can interact with, so he continuously can learn new things, and he can stay up to date with what's going on. Now, everything I said till now is all about having the right standards for a hashgacha, but the truth is that even with standards, there's another element, and that is a person might have the right standards, he might have the right amount of knowledge, but then just gets it over his head, and he's certifying things that are beyond what he's really able to do. So the Rav Machshir has to be the right personality, person who can do the hashgacha properly. He has to have the right staff, or enough of his own personal time to take care of all the accounts. One person can only give hashgacha to so many places before he needs help to really service all those places. And he has to have the strength of character to be able to reject hashgacha from places where he's not able to really do a proper job of them. Now, for all these things that I mentioned, most regular, everyday consumers would not be able to figure out whether hashgacha is good or not, whether they meet all these qualifications, and they'll therefore turn to their Rav or to the local hashgacha that they have to try to help them out and say, listen, do you know these people? Or do you know whether this is a reputable hashgacha? To help them know whether they should or should not trust the logo that they see.